So we've heard a lot of people talking about text analytics and a lot of people talking about language. When I hear that people talking about language and I hear the word language, I think which language? There's many different languages that people speak around the world. Mission of basis technology. That's funny. It's backwards. Let's do this. Here we go. So Basis Technology was founded in 1995, and our mission as a company is to help organizations analyze unstructured multilingual text. Our primary product that I'll start by talking about is the Rosette Linguistics platform. It offers a number of different capabilities, starting with language identification, sort of enabling search in 23 different languages, then entity extraction, and then higher level things like entity search and entity translation. The Rosette Linguistics platform at the end of the day is just an SDK. You integrate it into your software, and it scales down to run on an HP printer, and it scales up to run on, the Microsoft Bing cloud. It's component architecture, so you write your code once, you integrate the software, and then you just enable different features with license keys. As I'll show you in a second, the broad suite of text analytic capabilities and a whole lot of language coverage. Starting with language identification, you can find language regions in a single document, or you can find just the dominant language. You can use this information to inform your indexing and inform your extraction process. Once you know the language, enabling the search really allows you to increase the recall of your search without hurting your precision by understanding the language using lemmatization, decompounding. In Asian languages, there's segmentation issues. And so all of this is handled by our search enablement component. Next up is entity extraction. Our extractor uses lists, rules, as well as statistical models because different approaches to entity extraction work better for different entity types. So by giving you all three sort of options, you have the ability to pick and choose the ones that work for you and customize them in a way that works for you. So not just a generic case, it has to work for your industry, it has to work for your vertical and for your specific use case. The entities you can use for faceted navigation or exploration, as well as things like entity search and entity translation, which I'll show you briefly in a second. The entity search really is a cross-language name search, right? Searching for people, places, organizations. They're written in many different ways. There's all sorts of different intentional or unintentional variations depending on your data sets. And this searching capability allows you to find those regardless of how they've been written. The goal of the platform really is to provide a bunch of complementary technologies so that you can combine the output from all of these different components that I've described, sort of enable search or sort of enhance your search process, boosting entities or entity searching. And really it allows you to sort of create this semantic metadata to annotate your documents as they sort of go through the indexing process to allow you to search in new ways. What this also allows you to do is to start thinking about how you can design for exploration. We heard Jeff sort of allude to this before of being able to find the content that you're looking for even if you don't quite know how to phrase the question. And so that's just an interesting concept. What you're looking at here, we call the Odyssey Analytics Platform. This is a platform that integrates all of the components that I've described to you so far as well as some that I haven't quite described yet. The idea here is to sort of provide you a platform for analytics. What we're looking at here is a dashboard, just sort of bubbles up some of the obvious information, what languages existed in this set of documents and what entities were being mentioned. If they were mentioned in documents that weren't English, let's translate them to English so they can show up in our list here. When I run a search for a name, like Osama bin Laden in this case, we find over here on the right, we have a whole bunch of different other spellings that existed, other spellings in English or other spellings in other languages, so we're still pulling those documents back. When you drill into an actual document, it might be useful to actually see the detailed information being highlighted for you so you can actually find out, oh, what did I search for, what are the entities and where do they exist? This is of course an option, but it's available, the information's available to do this. For languages that maybe aren't English, you can start to bring up additional information. So pop up a list of the entities and show me the translations of each of them. So this might be more relevant to me if this is sort of a language that I might not speak as a first language. To see a translation to something I can read would be very useful. Finally, all of this adds up to sort of enabling other ways to explore your data, right? Of course, you can't run one of these without having a network graph show up on the screen here. So the idea is basically start creating these links between sort of information units inside of your documents. And so by linking them together both within documents and across documents, you can really get some interesting information out. Feel free to talk to us after or during the lunch, and happy to answer any questions.